So there have been a lot of normal people who have been having some criticisms with Avengers Endgame when it comes to the story and the characters and how they are used in the movie. And I get some of those criticisms for sure. But then you have another subset group of people who have been complaining about Avengers Endgame for completely different reasons, for the identity politics of the movie and not about the story or the characters. And a lot of these complaints that they have are like I said, they're about the political agendas of the movie, and they don't have anything to do with how the characters and the story work. And a lot of these people, you can definitely tell, are not actual MCU fans because they don't get the fact that this movie is about the OG Avengers. And a lot of the complaints that they've been having have to do with things like, Okoye not being used enough in the movie, even though she was on the poster and stuff. There wasn't enough LGBTQ representation in the movie. And now apparently Captain Marvel wasn't good enough for them in the movie. So we have here an article from USA Today, who I don't really take very seriously, but I just found this article to be really silly, by Kelly Lawler. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what she has to say about Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame. Despite how prominently she's featured in the trailer and the movie's marketing, she really was not featured prominently in the trailer or the marketing. She really wasn't. If you were paying attention to the marketing at all for Avengers Endgame, then you know that she really did not have much to do with the marketing, like hardly at all. Come on, at least try to be a little bit more realistic with the criticisms that you have here. When she does appear, she's awkwardly inserted into scenes and underutilized as a character and a hero. Well, maybe that's just because she doesn't really fit into this movie. I mean, it definitely feels like in a lot of her scenes that she was just kind of put there because they had to check off that box. They had to check off that Captain Marvel box. So I understand what you're saying here. But yeah. Let's see here. This pattern of appreciating Captain Marvel for her punching over her personality doesn't bode well for the future of the beloved comic book character. Carol shows up exactly 4 times in the Endgame. She arrives in the beginning. Sans introduction to rescue Tony and Nebula, who are adrift in space, and then assists with the early assault on Thanos. 15 or so minutes later, she shows up in a glorified conference call with Black Widow and remarks that she won't be around Earth for a while as she's helping other planets. She enters the Earth's climactic final battle halfway through, a ringer who faces down Thanos before he is finally defeated. And after he punches her sky high with the Power Stone, which was awesome. She also appears in the background of a funeral near the end of the film. Far from being an integral part of the destruction of Thanos, like many fans predicted, Carol is an afterthought, a prop to punch the purple guy around before everyone else has big emotional moments. Well, I mean, if you were a real fan of the MCU, then you know this movie was for the OG Avengers. This movie was not for Captain Marvel. And because of that, we wanted the original Avengers to be the ones that defeated Captain Marvel. Or defeated Thanos. I wish that they defeated Captain Marvel. And so this movie was not about her. This was not her movie. Had you not seen her own film, you might not know her name until 45 minutes into Endgame. Oh no, that would be such a problem. Let's see. So, what exactly happened here? How did a marquee character get treated so poorly? Carol is Marvel Studios' first female, blah, blah, blah. Newer characters like Carol are supposed to represent the future of the mega billion-dollar franchise, but her role in the film didn't make that future seem very bright. Really. It's clear that directors Joe and Anthony Russo had a lot they wanted to fit into Endgame. The film is quite long, as had been oft mentioned. It also pivots away from the superhero block party atmosphere of last year's Avengers Infinity War, with a mere focused look at Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, as rightfully so. The movie also has to give emotional and proper goodbyes to both Iron Man and Captain America, who kicked off the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. This wasn't meant to be a Captain Marvel solo film. She was always going to be a piece of a larger puzzle. So what are you complaining about then? She had 15 minutes in the movie. She had more screen time than some characters that have been around a lot longer than she has been. So why are you complaining? But maybe she could have been a piece that fit a little bit more seamlessly. Well, it was always going to be a problem that she wasn't going to fit seamlessly. She came out of nowhere. She was forced into this universe. She was put into this universe because she's a woman and she needs to fit into this universe so that they can check off the woke boxes. So she was never going to fit seamlessly into this movie. And if you thought that she was, then you aren't paying attention to what Marvel are doing. What Marvel is doing. They forced her into this movie. They put her movie out between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. They basically are forcing us to accept her and accept the fact that she is the face of the MCU instead of actually trying to get her to earn that respect among the fans. If you expected anything different, then I don't know what to say to you. Audiences don't see her meet the Avengers. We saw her arrive at Avengers headquarters in the Captain Marvel post-credit scene. But anyone, okay. Her lack of introduction is jarring and weakens the film as a whole. Well, I mean, that's kind of how Marvel roll. They kind of assume, for the most part, that you have seen the previous films whenever they have characters show up and stuff. They never, give characters that have been in previous films and then show up any sort of long, lengthy introduction. If you actually watch other Marvel films, which you probably have, but I'm just making a joke, okay? If you actually watched other Marvel films, then you would know this. She's a glorified bus driver for Tony Nebula, and then a glorified device to hold Thanos down as the other Avengers take center stage. Well, she didn't really hold Thanos down too much because she got punched sky high, but yeah, she let's see. Carol's mid-film scene exists mostly to show off her new haircut and justify the fact that she anyway, so she's just complaining more and more about Carol's part in the movie. Let's see. I don't think there's anything really else in here that is worth noting. But basically, if this person was an actual fan of the MCU, then she would know that this movie is for the OG's Avengers. This movie is not for Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel served as much purpose as a lot of the other characters that have been in the movie. Characters that have been around way longer than Captain Marvel have. So the way that she's been used in this movie was about as good as it gets, as it gets about. It doesn't get much better than this. I mean, she doesn't fit into this story yet. She doesn't fit into this universe yet. She just is kind of forced in there and kind of made to fit by Marvel Studios. So she wasn't ever going to have a very seamless role in this movie. And the way that she was used, I mean, I don't see why you wanted anything different. The thing is that this person makes it sound like they wanted Carol to be a huge part in this movie, to be a big important centerpiece of this movie, and that's just not the case. This movie had the original Avengers as the centerpiece, as it should be. And if you're an actual fan of Marvel, then you would know that was perfect for this movie. Carol is going to be the face of the MCU moving forward. Captain Marvel is going to be the face of the MCU moving forward. So, that it just makes sense that she wouldn't take center stage yet, because this movie was dedicated to the original Avengers so that they could have a proper send-off. So yeah, anyway, this is just ridiculous. More and more people are complaining about things like this in the movie. About the identity politics, about women not having enough screen time or whatever, about not enough people of color being in the movie or whatever, and it's just ridiculous. It's just getting more and more ridiculous. These people are the people that Marvel wants to pander to, so good luck with that, Marvel. Have fun with these people being your new fans of the MCU, and I'm sure that'll go just swell for you. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.